right, we are here with Mr. Tony Tormbetta. Pretty sure I already messed up. You just said it, and I messed it up probably.
That's good. You're okay.
He is the president and owner of EGS Comics, the new grading company for comic books. Alongside me is Comic Fu. He'll be joining us tonight. For all of you who don't know his channel, it's pretty awesome. But we'll give you the floor here, Tony, other Tony. If there's any social media you want to plug, any websites, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find us at egscomicbookgrading.com. We are on Instagram as EGS Comics. And Facebook, we are Expert Grading Service on Facebook. And Twitter is the real EGS Comics on Twitter. So EGX comicbookgrading.com is the website.
Perfect. Mr. Comic Fu, any social media?
Yeah, so my YouTube is Comic Fu 2814, and it's the same for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Comic Fu 2814.
Awesome. Does some great content, in my opinion. But okay, sir, a couple questions right off the bat. So, how long have you been in the comic book industry, and how long you've been a collector?
This going to me?
Yes, sir. Sorry. Yeah. Other Tony. Tony, you're Bizarro Tony, I guess. I don't know.
That's all right, Tom. Yeah, well, we've been in business since January. I've been collecting comics since, probably 1981. So, I've been collecting for a long time. So been in the hobby a long time. And we are relatively new as a company. So we are a small startup. And it's going by quick, man. I tell you, can't believe it's, we're already in September here. So it's great.
That is that's good. Sounds like you've been collecting a long time, longer than I've been alive. That's for sure. But
yeah, I'm old.
Where did you get the idea that you wanted to hop into the grading industry?
I've had it for a while. Really, things had to kind of come in line to do it, but I've been wanting to do it for a while. I've always thought that. With the other companies out there, I thought that, I could give the community something a little bit better. So we are a little different than the other guys. But it's been a long time coming, but just waiting for the right things to come in line and the right opportunities to present themselves.
Very good. And I'm glad that we got, Comic Fu here. He's actually, been in collecting for a long time, but he's not as experienced as some other collectors in the grading scheme. So he might chime in with some very beginner questions for grading. But any question you can think of, man, go ahead and throw it out. I'm curious to get your perspective on the whole grading thing, especially as someone as a newcomer to grading as well.
Yeah. I'll just throw it out there. I have never gotten a comic book graded. I own probably less than 10 slabs. And I think I'm probably like most collectors in that way. The first question I really had, I think, is related to that. And this is something that people have actually asked on my channel. And of course, I don't have a good answer because I haven't done this. But it feels very daunting for those of us that have never gotten a book slabbed before to, first of all, understand the process, and then also to send these books that we love so much and trust them sending it off to someone that we don't necessarily know, that it'll be taken care of the way that we would. And so I was kind of wondering how you would address that anxiety of a someone new to the grading. And can you walk us through the process for somebody new, like from the sign up to the shipping, like how do you ship it properly, and even to payment?
Sure. Great question. Me being a collector myself, I perfectly understand this because, I obviously have slabs that I've sent to PGX, CGC, and you have that anxiety, man. They're my babies, and I don't want them gone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I exactly know what you're talking about, which is why, we as a company our standard turnaround time is 14 business days. We thought that, that was kind of the proper time for us to do what we need to do, but yet it's not away from you too long, because I know how it feels, man. I don't want my books gone too long. So that's why we came up with our standard is 14 business days, and you can get them quicker. It'll cost you a little more money, but you can get them back quicker as well if you like. But as far as the process goes, basically, all of our orders are picked up at the post office. So, we go to the post office, we pick up your order from, when you order online, of course, you go online, you send us the, your order. Basically, we go pick it up at the post office. The process is when we get them, unbox them, then it goes through the grading process where it gets looked at. And let me assure you, again, being a collector, gloves are worn all the time. Okay. We are very, very delicate with the books. We are, we understand that, anything can happen. We don't want anything to happen to your book,
Right.
And so, gloves are worn all the time. So basically, once it's unboxed, it goes through grading. We have graders look at it. Once it's through the grading process, we will send you an email saying that, number one, we've got your order. Number two, okay, now it's in the grading process. Number three, now it's going into the slab process. You would get an email knowing that. Once it's encapsulated in the label and it's, all done, you get an email saying that, hey, we're ready to ship out. So, it's coming. And then, as far as the shipping goes, man, we use lots of bubble wrap, USPS priority boxes. And then, that box goes into another box. So so you have that double protection. We don't just put them in a USPS box and that's what you get. That box actually goes into another box because listen, man, I'm paranoid just like you. I don't want anything happening to your books because I know I've gotten packages back from other companies and, let's just face it, USPS isn't really the most careful when they're delivering packages. So we want to make sure that, it's packed nice, safe, tight, and, you can be assured when you get it, man, you're not going to have any problems. So that's really it. It's really not a whole heck of a lot. It's not really rocket science, really the skill is really just in the grading itself. The encapsulation process is just another, whole process, to where, your book gets sealed and, put in the slab. And I'm sure you know what they look like. Our slabs are a little bit different, but it's still the same concept. So really, that's about it. Unless you have a specific, question on how it's actually slabbed. I would kind of have to show you.
Yeah,
That's something that you'd have to show. I'm really thinking about maybe actually starting my own YouTube channel just to, keep everybody updated on, what we're doing, maybe events that we're going to, maybe do a whole video from start to finish on, hey, look, this is how things go. We'll do a video on picking up the book, show us grading the book, show us encapsulating the book. I think that might be something to do in the near future that people might like, so they could actually see what goes on.
I think that would be perfect. That gets right to that anxiety that I'm talking about. So I love that.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Maybe hopefully down the road here, I can I can do that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about doing YouTube or YouTube videos and stuff like that. I'd have to learn, what it takes to do it. But we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it because we think it'd be kind of cool to actually, when we're at a convention, go live on Facebook and show us at a convention, and
that would be neat.
Doing stuff like that. So, trying to be inclusive, keep everybody inclusive. That's really what we're all about. That's why I started this, because, it just, I want everybody to, with the other companies, it's you just don't know, it's hard to get a hold of them. And, you don't really know how they do things. And, they really don't tell you a lot. They really don't tell you their grading standards. So, there's a lot that you don't know. Us, we like to just be out there, man. We're easy to contact. We'll answer any questions you have. We want you to be included.
Sure.
I think that's a big part, because, like you said, man, I personally don't like sending my books out either. I don't. But
question came in through the live chat. If you could explain the difference between a CGC slab and your slab. That comes from Ginger the Boss.
Ginger, the biggest thing about CGC slabs and our slabs are it's just a totally different concept. They have their own production inside their facility. Our slabs are, I would say, thinner. They're not as thick, but our plastic is different. Our plastic is, even though it's thinner, it's harder, and we have UV built in to ours. So you can be sure that if you're hanging it on a wall and there's sun coming in, that UV isn't going to penetrate our slabs.
I thought that would be like an industry standard by now. I didn't know that was kind of like a unique to you kind of thing.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that.
Another big difference in our slabs is we offer two kinds of grading, because you could actually get in. There's two different ways to go about it. We have a raw grade, and then there's a certified grade. Okay. Our certified grade is just like all the others, where your book is sealed into the slab. Okay. The raw grade, okay, is a grade that to where actually, if you want to, you can get in to the slab and actually take your book out and read it and show it. If you want to show it to somebody, if you want to read it, there's a way to get into the slab very, very easily if you would. So basically what we do is we have a slab that you can get into and a slab that we seal. So there's kind of like two different slabs. It's one slab, but one is sealed and the other one isn't. So we offer both, because that was another thing that people were saying, that they wanted, not everybody wants their book in a slab and then they can't touch it. It's there forever, and that's it. A lot of people want it to where maybe they would want to take it out to show somebody, or take it out to read it, or do whatever. So with our slabs, you can do both. It's just, the certified is sealed. It has security stickers, and it's sealed inside. The inner liner is sealed all the way. So the slab is sealed, the inner liner is sealed, it's completely sealed. On the raw side, the slab isn't sealed. You can actually open it. The inner liner is only sealed on two sides. So you could actually just kind of lift the inner liner and take the book out and read it, show it. And when you're done, you put it back in, and then the inner liner goes back into the slab. You could close the slab back up and hang it up or do whatever you want. There's a label for that. There's different labels for that as well. There's our raw label, and there's our certified label. So, it's up to you. We want to give you that choice. You know, you don't have to just, you know, get a certified grade to where, you know, yes, it's certified and it's up there, but hey, look, you know, you can't open it and it's there forever, you know. So it's up to you. We give you that choice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
is there a price difference between the two?
There is. The raw is a little bit cheaper. There's a raw that when we grade it, it just goes into a backer board, a mylar, and you get the certificate of authenticity, and it gets mailed back. That's like $10. Then you go to $20, and that's the one that's actually in the slab that you can open and get your book out. Okay, that is $20 for that because of the, you know, the cost of the slab and, you know, I mean, the inner liner and stuff like that. And then you get into our certified, which is, you know, $25 and $30. You know, it's $30 for silver and gold, and
Sure.
you know, $25 for modern. So, you know, there's only a $5 difference really in the raw and the certified when it comes to modern books. And of course, you know, you could get one of our colored labels. You know, that's going to cost you an extra $5, but they're very nice, you know, to have. You know,
so for the certified, you mentioned that they're sealed. Is there like is there a shelf life for that where because you hear them, people talk about the gases that build up, right? And the acids and that kind of deteriorate the pages. Do those slabs need to be like reslabbed periodically?
No, not at all. No, our plastics are made to where once they're in there, man, they're in there for life. There's no reslabbing, you know, after so many years. You know, that's one of the reasons why we did the UV as well. You know, so, you know, that UV,
Right.
if it's in the sun, it's not going to penetrate it. So, yeah, no, you don't have to worry about it deteriorating or eating the book or the book, you know, getting damaged or anything like that. They're in there. When they're sealed in there, they're sealed in there. They're protected, and that's really what it's all about. Because really, I mean, depending on what you're doing, you know, I mean, if you're just in it to flip, you know, that's a different story. But really, I think a lot of us, as far as I'm concerned, like, you know, me being a collector, you know, one of the reasons why I want it in a slab is for that protection, right? So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I you know, get my comics slabbed, you know, just, you know, to have that protection for it in there. So, you know, it's going to be in there, you know, for forever, you know, and I don't have to worry about it. So it just kind of depends on what side of the fence you're on. You know what? I mean, let's just face it. There's different facets to the hobby, right? I mean, you know, there's you know, people that are in there just to, you know, flip and make money, and then there's, you know, the collector that's there for, you know, for the pure enjoyment and want their comics protected, and you know, I mean, that's really it. You know, I mean, but yeah, you don't have to worry about, you know, there's really no shelf life on it. You know what I mean? When it's in there, man, it's in there and it's safe. So, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why people do it.
That's great. Yeah, and I think you touched on one of the fears I've had. I see people on these YouTube channels where they've got their slabs all lined up behind them, and it looks really nice. But all I can think the whole time is, doesn't the light deteriorate that over time? So you're saying that you've got the UV protection on these slabs, and so it's safe to put on the walls?
Yes. Safe to put on the walls. Safe to put on the walls, and you don't have to worry about the UV from the sun penetrating the plastic. You know, I don't really know, you know, like you see the people that have them hanging up on the wall. I mean, I really don't think like a regular fluorescent light is doing anything to them. But if they have a window that's open and shining on the wall, then over time that could, you know, deteriorate, you know, the book. So that's why.
Yeah, that's good. One thing I definitely want to share with everybody is I'm on your website now.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but these are the custom labels that you mentioned.
Yep.
And there is a good number of custom labels, and that's good to know that I can pick something that you know I want that I think fits my book and that
Correct.
looks good in my collection. Um, so, how did you come up with this idea? Was this um, something that you've always wanted, and you just said, "Why not? I'll just offer it," or or something a customer suggested, or how did you come up with this?
Funny story. Uh, I did not plan on this. When I opened, I did not even have this concept in mind. Uh, but the story goes is that I was talking to one of my good friends, Bill, who is Economics and Comics on YouTube. He's a very
Okay.
friend of mine, and we talk a lot about certain things. And we were just on a conversation, and he was talking about one of the books that he had just gotten, and he had said, he's like, damn, he's like, he's like, it's too bad like I couldn't get like a black label for this book. Wouldn't this book just pop with a black label? He's like, why does it have a blue label and a yellow label? And then it clicked. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you're right. I'm like, why does a particular color have to stand for one thing? Right? I mean,
Right.
it doesn't make sense. I mean, why does, a universal or a certified have to be blue? Why does a signature have to be gold? Right? And then that's it. What's the reason? Right? Well, I mean, really, there is none. I mean, when you come right down to it, I'm like, if I, as you can see, if you're looking, at the label, it clearly will state on the label if it's a signature series label or it's a certified label. So why does it have to be blue or gold, right? You're going to have a hologram on there that says either it's a signature series or a certified series. So really all you have to do is look at the label and you can tell what kind of series it is, but yet that label is going to really make your comic pop, right?
I
Yeah, I
agree.
was out on the site and I saw that you had some examples out there, and,
Yeah.
and it really they're gorgeous. I mean, those slabs really are nice.
Yeah. So really, that's the story. That's how this came to be. So really, I give most of the credit to Bill all the time. I mean, if he never said that, who knows? We might not have these colored labels. Because
Yeah.
I never thought of that. It never really crossed my mind. Yeah. So when he said that, then the light kind of just went on, and I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe this could actually just change this whole game completely.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean,
So let me ask something else. So if you can customize the label in terms of color, is there any other kind of like customizations you can do? Maybe like custom pedigree notes, or I don't know, anything like that, where you'd have something that's specific to your book that you'd want on that label.
we could. I mean, besides the information that's already on there, right? I mean,
Right.
Obviously you have all the basic information on that label. The artist, the title, whatever significance the book is. First appearance of this or whatever. So you already have all that literature on there. Now, if you wanted something special,
Right.
put on the label, yeah, we can do it. I mean, as far as like if you wanted, I don't know, something on the label that's just significant to you, yeah, sure.
Who you got it from, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea.
As far as like, yeah, because I mean, we have the grader's notes, but they're on the certificate of authenticity. So, those aren't on the label. So, I mean, wherever, if you want something on there to state something, sure. I mean, we've done it already with sketch artists, right? I mean, people have friends that do sketches on their book, right? They do the sketch covers and they sign it. They might have a friend who does that. So, they'll say, hey, can you put him on the label as the artist, sketch done by so-and-so? Sure. And we've done it, So on the label, it'll say, sketch cover by John Smith, signed by John Smith, because he'll sign his name on the, on the art, on the cover. So
Right.
we've kind of already done that a little bit. So yeah, we don't have a problem putting what you want on the label besides the basic stuff that already goes on there, right? And another thing too is, like I said, guys, this is a choice, right? I mean, you don't have to have a color label. You could go with the standard blue or you could go with the standard yellow for signature if you still want. You won't have to pay the $5 extra. I want people to know that it's not like you have to get a colored label, but we want to give you the opportunity to get one. We want to give you that option to let you choose what you want instead of us as a company dictating to you. Hey, look, you can either get, a yellow, that's it. You could get a blue for this, that's it. You could get, a red for restored, and that's it. It's we wanted to leave that up to you. You can get whatever you want on it. You know what I mean? The colors don't actually have to stand for something. The colors are purely just adding that extra touch to your book.
Yeah, well, if you look at that, the Harley that's up there on the screen with that blue background, she's got that kind of pink jacket, and then you got the pink label at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, it really makes it pop. That's just, that's great.
Yeah.
And Jesse O has a real quick question. He says, I noticed you honor COAs for Raw Comics. Aren't you afraid of forged COAs?
It depends where they come from. I mean, if it's a COA from a company that I've never heard of, obviously we'd research it,
sure,
and see if it's a legitimate company for one, and then if it's someone we don't know, we would actually get in touch with them and make sure that, hey, look, I just got a book, and do you guys, is this your COA, right? I mean, if it's somebody we don't know, and I haven't gotten one yet from somebody that, a company that we don't know. I mean, we get them from, Midtown and, all the big comic shops that give them out. That's basically what we get. I've never gotten one yet from a company that I have to look at and go, who the hell is this? Right. I mean, so, but if that were to happen, we would definitely research it and, get in touch with them just to make sure, that it's their certificate. But, on the other hand, we do signature verification, right? So even without the COA, we would be able to verify it and know if it was phony or not, right? So basically what we say is, look, if you have a COA, yes, we're going to honor it. Okay. But we're still going to verify the signature. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So that was one of the things, again, I think that kind of was holding me back is I have certain books that are really near and dear to me that I got signed at a show.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have I hear with other companies you need a witness, and I didn't have that at the time. So are you saying that I could still send that in and have that graded under a signature series?
Yes. We will verify the signature without a COA, without a witness from somebody. We have the software and the hardware that we're able to do that. So, we're confident that, we can verify any signature out there. So our thing is, look, if you have it, by all means, send it to us. By all means. If you don't, that doesn't mean we can't do it. Okay. So, it's up to you. You do whatever you have or don't have. But either way, we can do it. So just, be sure that, your book is going to get, verified. That signature will get verified. And, if we deem that it's forged or it's not an actual signature, then, we will call you and say, look, we're sorry, but we can't, we're not going to go ahead and verify this signature. We don't feel comfortable in doing it. Now we haven't gotten one that we've gotten a COA, and usually when we get the COA, we'll still match up what's on the COA, just to make sure. So we haven't really gotten one yet that we haven't gotten a COA yet that hasn't passed the verification. So it's, again, we wanted to do that for you because, listen, I like you understand, I have books from 1982, 1983 from cons that I went to when I was 12 and 13 years old and have signatures on that. There were no witnesses or anything like that back then.
Nope.
Right? So what am I going to do? Am I going to be stuck with that if I want to get it slabbed? Well, you know what I mean? So, we wanted to offer that. I think CBCS also offers it. I think PGX offers it as well. I think they have the same technology.
CBCS does too. PGX, you guys. In my opinion, I think CGC really is missing out for signature verification. It's something that I like, and all the books on the wall behind me they need signature verification. It's a great service, and I'm happy you offer it. Ginger the Boss has another question. How many comics have you graded, and how tough are you on the grade?
You broke up there a little bit.
Oh,
man.
I'm sorry. Ginger the Boss wanted to know how many comics have you graded and how tough you are on the grade.
Good question. I would say, I think right now as a company, we've done about 165 to this point. So that's not, in the grand scheme of things, it might not be a whole heck of a lot, but we are new. So, as far as that goes, how are we on grading? That's a very good question because we're very open in the fact that, we tell you how we grade. Okay. We grade 100% by the Overstreet Guide, okay, of comic book grading. That's how we grade. We grade by that book. Okay. So if you want to know how we grade and if you want to understand how we grade, you can go buy one for yourself and read it and understand. If you want to look into grading and how we look at a book, it's hard to say. I mean, are we tougher than other companies? I can't answer that because I don't know what their standards are. And the problem is that nobody knows what their standards are because they don't tell you what their standards are, right? They might base some things off of that Overstreet book, but, they come up with their own stuff on certain things, right? Because if they graded strictly by the Overstreet, they would tell you, hey, look, here it is. This is how we grade. So, it's hard to say whether we're stricter, we're not stricter. I don't know because I have nothing to base it on, right? If I knew exactly what their standards were, I would probably be able to say, well, their standards, I don't know, might be a little tougher than ours, might not be a little tougher than ours. I don't, I might be able to tell you if I knew, but the problem is we don't know, and they won't tell you. And that's a big problem that I think should be addressed, but, they don't want to, they really don't want to say how they come up with their guidelines. We're coming, we come right out there and say, look, there's our guidelines right there. That's what we go by. We don't variate from it. And that's it.
On your website here, it tells you, if I want to know what a 9.8 is, it tells you exactly what you're looking for.
Right.
what qualifies it as a 9.8, which
Yep.
is kind of nice.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah, that is nice, because that's the grading scale that I think most of us collectors use on our own. I mean, as amateur as we are, I mean, that is what I use when I catalog my books,
Right.
so that when I'm out, I know if I have an upgrade opportunity or not. So what kind of, but I'm very much an amateur, so I'm just kind of making it up based off of my understanding and my personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of what's the experience level of your graders, and where are they coming from?
Well, actually, there's only two. One, there's myself and there's my partner. I learned. I took a course. It was a 30-hour course on grading by the Overstreet standards. It showed you how to actually grade a book, what to look for, what all their definitions mean, all of that kind of stuff. And basically, what I did is I passed that along to him. Right now, I know. Now I can teach whoever, whatever graders, no matter what their background is. I could teach them, look, this is the way we do it, right? This is how we grade. These are our standards. These are what we go by. And this is what, they would learn and understand before they even touch a book. So, right now, like I said, we're a real small company, man. We're small. We're just starting up. So we don't have a ton of graders, right? I mean,
Yep.
CGC probably has, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, maybe even. I mean, I don't know, I don't know how many Daniel has. I never really asked him how many he has over there at PGX. CBCS, I have no clue. But I think it's important that as an owner that, I make sure that however many graders I have, they know what our standards are. They understand, look, this is how we grade, right? This is what this means. This is how we look at a book. Okay. It's important to know that our graders understand our way of grading, because, one of the main things I've always said is, and really this is what, before I even opened, I found out that most of the people, one of their biggest gripes is the consistency in grading. That's
I believe
a
it.
really, really big issue. I mean, consistency is our goal, and we feel that this is our best way to be consistent. Okay. There's one book to go by, guys. That's it. Right. We don't deviate to the left, to the right. We go strictly by that book. And if we keep going strictly by that book, we should have consistency in grading. Now, how consistent 30, 40 graders can be with their own agenda or their own, I don't know. That's CGC's worry, and that's their, that's their business. But, I think a lot of people are starting to really say, wow, this book has, 7 spine ticks on it, or 4 or 6 blatant spine ticks that you could see, and it's a 9.8.
I've seen that.
How does that happen?
I've seen that as well. It's bizarre.
But again, they have a lot of graders, so that's that can happen. But as far as we're concerned, that's why we grade the way we grade. I think if we keep doing that, our grading is going to be consistent, and everybody is going to know that when they send a book to us, it's going to be graded a certain way. And we are very transparent and upfront about it, because we want you guys to be comfortable. I mean, really, like you were saying, man, these are my babies. I want them to be treated right. I want them to be graded right. I mean, I want to know, hey, how do you guys do this? What standards do you guys have? It's very easy. You can buy the book and read it yourself if you want, because we're telling you this is how we grade. So, we felt that was really important, because again, ask any of the other guys what their standards are and see what they tell you, you know. So that was a really good question. I'm glad that came up. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really not worried about if we're tougher or we're easier. I mean, that's not ours to judge. We just do our job. We grade by our standard, and that's it. If you don't agree with it, I mean, then that we're sorry. I mean, but, you're paying us for our opinion, and we're giving it to you, right? I mean, another thing is, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but me being a collector, when I first started sending books into CGC, let's just face it, I thought grading was a certain way, right? I mean, back in the comic shop I used to work at, which I worked at for 8-10 years, the manager showed me how to grade, but you have to understand that grading back then isn't like grading now. I mean, back then, you just kind of looked over the book, and, flipped through it. Yeah. Okay. This is VG. This is, VF. This is, near mint or whatever, I mean, grading now is so much, I mean, it's night and day from that time, I mean, what your book has to go through in the grading process, is so different. And I never understood this, right? I would send a book in, and I'd look at it, I'd be, yeah, man, this is going to be at least a 9.0 or, a 9.2. I send it back a month and a half later, I get the book and it's a 7.0, right? Right. So you take the book out and all of a sudden you see that 7.0 and like your jaw just drops and your stomach just turns, right? You're like, what? Right? I mean, how is this a 7.0? Well, what I wanted to do too is to make sure you guys never have that feeling, okay? Which is why we have you on the form put what condition you think your book is in when we get it. Okay, so number one, if you're saying that, you think your book is near mint, right? And we get it and say, the package got crushed or something, right? And we take the book out and it, there's damage to the book or whatever, we're going to call you, and say, look, we're looking at a book here that you think is near mint, and I'm looking at a book that's 6.5 to 7 at best. I'm like,
difference, yeah.
So, but I mean, look, if the package was messed up, I would say, look, this is what we found. Did it have that when you sent it to us? Because, your box was damaged when we got it. So, we want to make sure, that, hey, look, was this on your book? Was that on your book when you sent it? Right. But if there's nothing wrong with the package, which, we really haven't had any issues with, and you still have a near mint that you think your book is in, and we're looking at a 7, we're going to call you and say, look, I understand you think this is a near mint book, but, what I'm looking at is a 7.0, and here's why. It has this, and this, right? Now, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go ahead and slab it with that grade, or do you want me to just send it back to you and I charge you $10 for grading? But we will call you and let you know, because I don't think anybody should go through that shock of thinking their book is a 9.4, 9.6, and they open it up and it's a 7.0. I mean, that used to kill me.
Yeah.
So is this what you call your I was looking at your site earlier, there's a pre-screen service. Is that what you're talking about right now, or is that something different?
No, that's something totally different. Pre-screen is pre-screen. Basically what I'm saying is, we have your form in front of us, right? When you fill out our form, it gets emailed to me before you even mail it. It comes right to us. So,
Okay.
We're looking at what you put as, that's why we say, what condition do you think it's in? So, when we're grading, we have that in front of us. So I'm like, okay, well, he put down it's a near mint. Okay, so then I grade it, and I'm like, I could tell halfway through grading, oh, this is not going to be good, right?
Right.
I just stop right there, and I'll call you and say, look, John, you know, you put down that your book's a near mint, bro. This isn't even going to come close, and this is why. Now, what do you want me to do? I don't want to charge you for something that you're going to get back and go, what the hell is this, right? I just spent, 40 some odd dollars with shipping and stuff and got a 7.0 when I think I'm looking at a 9.2. I don't want that feeling of thinking you got ripped off or that, just that disgust, because I know I've gone through it. Before I knew really how to grade and what it takes to grade a book and what goes into it, But see, the other companies won't do that. They just, hey, look, they take your money, they slab it, they grade it, and it comes back to you and you deal with it, right? So, we like to at least kind of let you know and give you the opportunity to say, oh man, really, it's only going to be a 7. You know what, man? Just don't even slab it. Just send it back, and I'll pay you the $10 for grading it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's another thing, kind of what we do that the others don't.
One thing I want to backtrack here a little bit. Jesse O brought up a great question. He said, since you verify in-house, how much experience do your signature verifiers have? Without giving away trade secrets, you know what I mean? Is that something that you can put a little light on for us?
Yeah, actually, my partner doesn't. He just right now is grading. I do all the signature verifications myself.
Sure.
And like I said, there's certain things that are that you look for in a signature. And, I was taught that in that class on grading because, not only do they teach you how to grade, but they also, teach you about signatures, signature verification, restoration, all of that is included. So really, I would say without spending an awful lot of time on it, there are things that you look at in the signature, right? So we have a database, okay? And we have everybody's signature under the sun, okay, in the database, okay? Now, here's the thing. You also have to understand that not everybody is going to sign the same exact way every single time, right? I mean, they could come really, really close, right? But I mean, you try to put your signature on 20, 30 times in a row, and it's probably one or two of them are going to vary, maybe just a slight, right? So there is allowable things in a signature, but there's also things that are always consistent, right? And that's what we look at. Okay. There's things that are always going to be consistent in a signature, and that's how we verify. So
Sure.
it's a it takes a little bit to master and learn, but
Sounds like an undertaking.
Once you know what you're looking for, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Discovery Bay Comics. He's another great YouTuber. I definitely recommend checking out. He wanted to know if you felt wronged in the industry, and that kind of like inspired you to do what you do. He wanted to know what could possibly inspire such a huge financial undertaking, or for instance, starting your own business. It's a huge financial risk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I wouldn't say wrongdoing, but I thought that the industry needed something better for the community. I personally think that there's things that we do that the other companies don't that are specifically for you guys. Okay. We want you guys to feel like, hey, you know what? EGS is our company, man. I can call them anytime. I can ask them anything. We want to be, there for you. You know what I mean? Because I feel that these other companies, man, they're just, they're big corporate entities, right? And they're really, to me, they don't have the collector or the community in mind, when, as far as their business model goes.
Sure.
Okay. So, that's why we, do things different, and we'll always do things different. Our foundation is built on customer service. Okay. That's how we are built. All right. Because that to us is our number one priority, is making you guys feel safe, feel happy, know that when you're sending us a book, that it's going to get taken care of, that we have you in mind. If there's a problem, we're going to get in touch with you. If you need to get in touch with us, there's plenty of ways to do it, and we're going to get back to you. You can call us, you can email us, you can get us through social media. We're very, receptive to you guys. We want you guys to feel that, hey, you know what? It's never going to be a burden if you need to ask us anything or want to know anything or anything like that. I felt that, these other companies kind of just treated just a number to them in a way. I felt that it was just lacking that, that personal, that personal connection, because I don't know for a fact, but I don't know whoever started CGC if he was ever collected comics. I know the owner of CBCS was the CEO or the vice chair of CGC. Is he a comic collector? I don't think so. Me, I am. So I know your concerns. I know how you guys feel and what you want. So that's how I based this company, because I felt like the others, like I said, were just treating us like whatever. They dictate their stuff to us, and we have no choice but to follow it, right? Well, here at EGS, we're giving that choice to you. We feel you should be the one telling us what you want, right? I mean, that's really why I started this, because I knew there were things that I wanted that these other companies weren't doing and probably will never do. So that's really what it was, the basis of why I felt we needed another company, and a company that's going to be for you guys, the community, the collector, and hopefully down the road for the flipper, but it's hard right now because we're just starting. So obviously, if you're a flipper or you're doing it just for the money, obviously you're going to use CGC, right? Because you're going to get the most money for your slab because CGC is who CGC is. Hopefully down the road when we get bigger and more people know about us, and more of our slabs start selling, maybe they'll start selling for more and more and more and more. And if we get to that point to where we can somehow compete with CGC as far as what your book's going to be worth, then maybe we could start getting some flippers that use us, But let's just face it, I'm a realist, okay? If I'm looking to get the most money from my comics, I'm going to send it to CGC, right? If that's what I'm looking for.
That's the industry standard as of today.
Right. So, and I don't blame you, but that's your choice. But hopefully we'll get there as far as that end of it goes. But really, we're more of a company that is for the collector, and wanting their books to look nice, protected and graded consistently. That is our main goal, is to make you guys happy, make you guys proud. So when you show one of our slabs to somebody, they're going to be like, wow, look at that, look at that hot pink label. Are you kidding me? Right? Seriously. We want you guys to be proud of your books. So when people look at them or you're showing them off or, even if you don't, and they're just hanging on your wall, we want them to look the best they could look, and be sure that they're protected. Nothing's going to happen to them, and they're getting graded. Your grade is consistent. So that's really what why I started it, because I felt the other companies weren't giving us that. And let's just face it, the bigger CGC gets, they're out there to crush everybody. Okay.
Yeah, there's even some conventions that are exclusive to CGC.
Yes.
They won't even let their number one competitor, CBCS, in the door. So they got to book a hotel a few blocks away to offer their services.
Correct. I mean, they want to be the only one in the business. They want to monopolize everything,
So is it your goal to compete directly with CGC, or it sounds almost to me like you're targeting more of that collector community?
I mean, listen, I don't think anybody's ever going to put CGC out of business. Okay. I don't think anybody's going to start a business and say, you know what, we're just going to crush and compete with CGC and put them out of it. Look, they've been around. They started this game, right? I mean, they're the ones that started this game, and everybody else has jumped on. The other companies have come and, jumped on and basically are really doing about the same thing, right? We want to be different. So, we are who we are. If we're able to compete with CGC, I hope so. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say my goal is to never compete with CGC. I mean, sure, we'd like to, but, at the same time, we're not going to sacrifice our values and our foundation. You know what I mean? So we're going to be us from now until forever. If, God willing, if we get big enough to take a chunk out of CGC, and now they're looking at us as like, man, there's another player in the game that's doing well. I'll be tickled pink, man, but, hopefully, in time we'll get up to that point. But, in the meantime, like I said, man, we're in our baby stages. Right now we're just, we're glad we're paying the bills and keeping the lights on, our first year. So
it's important.
Really what we wanted to do is we knew that, we only had a budget so big, for our first year. So really we knew it wasn't, it was going to be, a little rough our first year, but we wanted to at least know that, we wanted to get our social media presence kind of built, in our first year. We knew we weren't going to be able to go to, a lot of conventions our first year. So really our focus was mainly getting ourselves on social media and kind of getting out there that way. Hopefully next year we'll start to concentrate on getting out there and getting to some conventions, because, obviously the more people see you, the more people know we're here, the better it's going to be. Right. So, we're just, like I said, we're little babies right now, but, we're hoping to do big things, man. And we're hoping that, the community, rallies around us, and, sees what we're doing and how we're doing things and what kind of product we're putting out. And, hopefully they understand that, we're in business to satisfy you guys. Okay. That's why we're in business, right? I mean, we want to make you guys happy. When you're unpacking a book with a hot pink label, right? You're going to open up that book and be like, damn, right? That's what we want. We want you guys to have that, oh man, look at this, and that's really the name of the game is satisfaction. We want you guys to be satisfied and know that, we have you guys in mind every day. So,
well, and I think you're onto something there with that aspect of it, because to the point I started all this with, I think a lot of collectors are probably in my shoes where we've never done this before. It's very intimidating. And I think having that focus on customer service and being there to answer those types of questions goes a long way towards, again, easing that anxiety. And so I really appreciate that.
And like I said, man, this is our foundation. So no matter how big we get, those things aren't going to be compromised ever. You know, no matter if we get to the size of CGC, we're still going to do things as far as customer service goes the same way. That's never going to be compromised, man, because that's important, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, I mean, to us, you know, I mean, we feel that that's the most important thing is, you know, making you guys happy and wanting to submit to us, right? I mean, that's the name of the game. You know, we want you to be comfortable and to know your books are going to be taken care of, man. Because yes, listen, I know it's a scary thing. I still listen. You know, I have my own collection. Okay, so obviously I don't grade my own books, obviously, right? So I send my books out too, guys. If I want a book in a slab and I want it graded, I'm going to send them to another company. You know, what else am I going to do? I can't grade my own, right? Because that's a
everything is
conflict.
10.0. Everything,
Right? Because that's a conflict of interest. So even to this day, you know, I don't like it. I don't like sending my books to them, you know, because you know, well, try to get a hold of them for something. You know, I mean, it takes forever, right? I mean, and your books are gone for, unless you pay for a quicker service, your books are gone a month, you know, or if it's convention season, maybe up to 2 months.
So I've heard the best advice for that is to forget about them, which
no.
Wait, forget about them? That's scaring me off.
Yes, that would scare me off too, man. Yeah, I'm never gonna forget about okay, I'm sending my Amazing Fantasy 15. I'm just gonna forget about it. It's been gone 2.5 months and I haven't heard anything. I'm just gonna forget about it. You know.
Right.
I get it. You know, at one time, you know, there was a grading company that I like to use. Their turnaround time was, you know, something outrageous. Because I don't know if it was convention season or they were just getting a flood of books, but it was, you know, it's like, man, my books have been gone like 6 months. You know, I'm supposed to just forget about them. Like, man, took me forever to get that signature.
I mean, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, I just, you know, because to me, you know, I mean, listen, the more time it's gone, right, the more you're starting to think, well, what's going on? You know, are they switching my book? Did something happen? You know, did they damage my book and they're trying to switch it out? Right? I mean, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that go through your mind the longer your book is taken because, you know, they don't have that communication, right? They're not going to call you and say, hey, look, you know, I know we said our turnaround time is, 27 business days, but you know, we're a little behind right now, but we just want to make certain that it might take an extra week. Well, now your mind is going to be at ease, right? Or even if they emailed that to you to let you know, hey, look, we've got your book. Everything's okay. We're just a little behind, but, you know, it's going to be out within the next week. I mean, to me, that's going to put my mind at ease, but they don't do that, right? I mean, you know, what do you know, if they did stuff like that, I think people would really appreciate it, you know, but
status updates, you know, if it sits in like a processing tier for, you know, extended a period of time, it'd be nice to get that feedback. Hey, your book has been sitting in our holding area for so long because of this,
right?
You know, we anticipate possibly getting to it, you know, approximately this date or something like that.
Yeah, or just say, look, it's convention season. You know, we're running a little bit behind because we've had a mass influx from the convention. Something, you know, anything is gonna ease your mind maybe a little bit. You know, I mean, but they're not going to do that. They don't think about that, I guess. You know, but that's why they are who they are and we are who we are, right? So. You know, that's never going to be an issue with us. You know, we're always going to let you know the status of your books. If, you know, if we ever were to get behind, I mean, I don't know. To me, listen, if I feel that we're to a point to where we've got too much business to where it's running into our turnaround time, right? Because we're promising you a standard 14-day, well, then I got to go out and hire more people. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
I mean,
and Tony, I apologize. I don't know how much time we have, but I do have one
Sure.
last question.
Go for it, man.
go ahead.
Came up as you were talking. So I've heard with at least with other companies, again, I don't have experience. So I'm talking from some kind of ignorance here, but I've heard that sometimes it can be hard to get the grader notes. How does that work with your company, and how are they made available, if at all?
Okay, so that's another issue that I thought was purely ridiculous. Okay, let's see. My book is coming back a 9.6. Well, why?
Yes.
Right? Why?
That's it. Yep.
Why is it not a 9.8? Right? I mean, listen, you're paying for this. You're paying us to do this, right? I mean, you want to know, hey, look, guys, why ain't my book a 9.8? Right? Grader's notes. Right? So, yes, I feel that every company should give you grader's notes. Now, we do. It's on our certificate. Okay? I don't know if you guys can see this, but I happen to have.
Let me zoom in a little closer here. Okay.
Here, right? And
a little bit more in front of your face, a little bit. We could see it. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Okay, on the back, which comes your certificate, and your grader's notes are on that certificate. I don't know if you can you see that okay?
A little bit higher up. Perfect. Beautiful.
All right. So there is an example of how your book is going to look. Now, the COA is just inside. This is a cover, like a comic cover that the slab's in.
Sure.
So this isn't actually in the slab, guys. I don't want you to think the COA is inside the slab. It's just inside the bag. We put it inside the bag, so you can either keep it in there or you could take it out, do whatever you want with it. But that's where we just put it. But on every COA is the grader's notes. This is the grade, and this is what we found. These are the defects, and this is why it got that grade. Okay, I think CGC, you can get them online.
You got to pay for them, but CBCS, if you have for example, here I've got one. You get a little number.
Yep.
Somewhere, or it's actually might even be on the back. But if you go to their website and you type in that number, you get those grader's notes at no charge.
Yep.
But you're saying these come with the slab, like on that COA.
With the slabs, so you don't have to look up anything. You don't have to go online, look up whatever. It's right there on your certificate. So we felt that was important because, not only do you have the COA, but that COA, so you know why it got that grade because the notes are on there, right? But this also transfers with the book, right? If you sell it to somebody else or whatever, the certificate goes with it. So now they know why that book got a 9.4 or a 9.6, right? I mean, that's why we did it this way. So there's no looking up whatever. Oh, I got to call. Oh, I got to go online. I want to say that I think CGC does it, but they only do it for anything under like a 9.4, I think, or a 9.2. So if you got like a 9.4, 9.6, or 9.8, they don't. When you look up the grader's notes, it'll just be blank because they don't give notes on those higher grades, which is ridiculous.
Weird.
I don't know why. I mean, damn, dude, I got a 9.6. Why didn't I get a 9.8? Well, I don't know.
You would think that's where you would want to see that.
Yeah, you look it up there and it's just blank. So I think it has to be, I think they do them for like 9.2s and under or 9.4s and under. They'll put the notes in there. But I think if it's like a 9.4 or over, there's like no notes for them, which is weird. But
let's sorry to cut you off. Let's make this a 5-minute warning. I like to keep these about an hour.
Yep.
If anyone's got any questions for EGS Comics, here's your 5-minute warning. But I got a cool one. It should be a real quick answer. What's one of the coolest comics that's come across your grading desk?
Gosh, I would probably say Spider-Man 300 is probably
Spider-Man 300. That's still pretty cool.
That's a big book. I mean, there's, I would probably say, I think that book is probably really cool. Is a neat book to grade. We've gotten a few Silver Age, some oldies, but I must say I haven't really gotten anything like really, really high value yet.
No, like Superman #1s or anything.
Right? No, I haven't gotten like any like really big grails. Right? I haven't done any of those yet. It could be just because we're new, we're not really maybe established yet. People don't know about us, so maybe they're going to send us their lower end stuff, and then earn their trust, and then they start sending us their grails or their more expensive books, or things like that. So I would probably say Spider-Man 300. I've done a few of those. That's probably that would probably be my answer right to this point.
Spider-Man 300. That's a good book.
Yeah, it really is. Also, I know we're running late on time, but there's another aspect of it to where, listen, guys, we feel, and I have always felt, that you should not be charged extra just because you're sending us a $10,000 book to be graded. Okay?
Yes.
We treat that book the same as we would treat a book just off the newsstand. Okay? There's no difference in how we grade it, how we go about it, how we handle it. Okay? There is no difference at all. So why pay another extra $100 or $200 for a company to grade Amazing Fantasy 15? Right? They're going to charge you that much money because you're sending in a book that's worth so much. Well, what are you doing any different? I mean,
got a point.
I mean, listen, we're going to charge you $30 for a Silver Age book, no matter if it's, a grail or it's not. Okay. I mean, it's $30. It's never going to be more than $30. Okay. Same with Golden Age. It's $30. If you're sending me Superman #1, it's going to be $30. Now, if you want to put insurance on it and pay for the insurance to put on it, which I would recommend, but again, that's up to you. We don't, we don't require it. We don't say, hey, look, man, you need to pay us so much money so we can insure this thing. That's up to you. If we leave that up to you, where the other companies dictate that to you.
Well, if I'm sending you a Superman #1, I'm not using the mail. Probably I'm just going to drive.
That's a good point. I saw on the website that if it's Florida, right? If you're in the vicinity, you can drop it off.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have a couple drop-offs here in Florida. If you want to drop it off, we will pick it up. If you don't want to mail it, that's up to you. But like I said, man, we grade and we treat books the same. So,
Kyle Willis wants to check out your facility. He said he's not far from you. So shout out to Kyle Willis.
Absolutely.
That's good. Definitely some good information there. But we are running low on time here. But we'll start with you, Mr. EGS. Social media, where can we find you? And what can we do to learn more about EGS as a company?
Yeah, like I said, man, we have our website, EGXcomicsgrading.com. Social media, we are on Instagram, EGS Comics on Instagram. Facebook, we're Expert Grading Service on Facebook. And we are The Real EGS on Twitter. So, and, also, when you get on the website, we also have our shop number, so you can call us. I mean, so there's plenty of ways to get to us if you need to. And like I said, our goal is customer service. So however you're trying to get a hold of us via social media, via email. Email, we're EGS comics at Yahoo. However you're trying to get a hold of us, you're going to get a response and a pretty quick one. We try to respond within a certain amount of time, or you can call the shop. Somebody's pretty much always there. If not, leave a message and we'll return the call. So we're really easy to contact. And that'll stay that way. So it's really not that difficult.
Very cool. Very cool. Mr. Comic Fu, thank you for joining us and your perspective on grading. I know you're less experienced in terms of sending comics in for grading, so it's nice to get your perspective. Where can I find you on the internet and get a hold of some of your great content?
Well, thanks for having me. This was fun. So I put out, I've got a YouTube channel. It's at Comic Fu 2814. And I'm also on Instagram where I'm putting out my comic hauls. Again, at Comic Fu 2814, and Twitter and Facebook as well at the same address.
Same address. Okay. Well, that's great. Want to give a special thanks for EGS for hanging out with us. It's great to learn about your company, Comic Fu, for his great expertise in the field. But this was fun, gentlemen. We'll have to check back with you, September of 2020 to see what things have changed and what's you're looking forward to in the future.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
All right. And thanks for everyone for participating in the chat. And we will catch you all on the flip side. All right, it's going to end here in just a second.